Hello YouTube. So today I'm going to do an updated video on my Peralo video. I believe that's how you say his name. And so if you don't know, I've made a video in the past about him, but he's most well known for his shorts about celebrities and pop culture, and also his community posts. He does a lot of polls, and they may seem innocuous enough, but as we'll get into, and as we have gotten into in my previous video, they are not as innocent as they seem. If I'm looking over to the side, it's because my dog George is chewing on his bone thing. It's like a cheese stick, and I just want to make sure he doesn't start chewing on anything else, like a shoe or something he should not be chewing. So if I'm looking over to the side, that is why. But I took some screenshots to get ready for this, and now I'm just gonna pull and read them. But to start out this video, before I even delve into the screenshots, I want to address some of the criticism I've gotten on my last video. I want to say first and foremost, I do not hate Charles. I don't know him. I don't hate him. I don't think he's the worst person ever. Like, so if you're going to tell me, oh, stop hating on him, I would say to that, there is a difference between criticism and hate. I do not hate Charles. And also, a lot of other people said stuff like, oh, there's a lot of people doing a lot worse, like, and the thing with that argument is it never ends, because there's always someone who you could argue is worse than someone else, or is doing more harm than someone else. So to that I say that doesn't mean things aren't worth talking about, because at the end of the day, this isn't about Charles, but it's about the mindset that people like him perpetuate that can be harmful to different types of people. Okay, so the first screenshot I have, which this is perfect because in case you didn't know, April is Autism Acceptance Month. So get ready for this. So his poll says, would you date someone with autism? And the possible answers are, yes, I'm a man. No, I'm a man. Yes, I'm a woman. No, I'm a woman, or unsure. So Erica, why is this problematic? The thing is people's existence is not like a fun little poll. Like, autistic people are people, and if you wouldn't date someone because they're autistic, you have a lot of stuff to work through. And disabled people are people. Autistic people are people. We don't exist for you to debate over, oh, would you, hi Georgie, this is Georgie, Mr. George. But, anyway, good boy. But we don't exist for you to have debates over, or be like, oh, would you date someone like this? Would you date someone like that? These polls are just hurtful to people that have those identities. And also, if you notice, missing from those responses was an answer like, I'm non-binary or something. Like, he is not very inclusive, and he seems to think that, like, people's existence and whether we're worthy partners is up for debate, and that causes a lot of harm. Autistic people deserve to be in happy, healthy relationships if that is what they want, and if not, that's their choice too. Sorry, I'm petting George. The next screenshot I have, and again, I'm gonna, when I edit this, I'm gonna put them all on screen, is calling someone a spaz offensive? Yes, no, or unsure. As far as I know, Charles does not have cerebral palsy, which is where the term spaz comes from. If you aren't aware, I was born with a neuromuscular disability called spastic cerebral palsy, and spaz is a shortened version of the word spastic, which basically means tight muscles. There's ataxic CP and spastic CP, and there's a combo of the two. Ataxic CP is when your muscles are too loose for like, so they're so loose, and with spastic CP, it's when your muscles are too tight, basically. I'm not a scientist, but this is my understanding of it. And so it's not up to people that don't have cerebral palsy to decide if spaz is a slur or not, because it is a slur. I've gotten made fun of for the way that I move and the way that I talk, so no, you don't get to use that term. That just bothers me. This third one is, and before you see this, you may not know why I find this kind of problematic, but when I describe what it is and when I put it up on the screen, hopefully you'll get a better idea. But he wrote, "What do you know me?" he asked, and this is one of those polls where the answers have pictures next to them. So it says shorts guy, and it has a screenshot of one of his shorts about Peter Dinklage. Now, if you don't know who Peter Dinklage is, he's an actor. I believe he was in Game of Thrones. He was an elf. He's been in a lot of things. He was in that movie Here Now in the reboot. But he is a little person. He has dwarfism. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Charles put his picture next to shorts guy. That's not funny, Charles. I don't know if you think disabled people are a joke or what, but that's not funny. The next choice is essay guy, whole man, and the last choice is Charles. To me, it just seems a bit too coincidental that he would have a picture of Peter Dinklage next to shorts guy. And the last screenshot I have here is, and this is probably, in my opinion, it's probably the worst. But, okay, get ready for this. Got messaged by a girl on Instagram, and always skeptical when I get those. I asked for a voice message and was 100% confident this person was transgender. I went hey, I'm flattered, but not my thing. Got a video message, and turns out she was indeed a woman and not transgender. Oops. First and foremost, trans women are women, period. So for you to say she was not transgender, she was a woman, it's like trans people can be women, first of all. Second of all, ew. Why would you post that? It's not funny that you thought someone was trans, so you turned them down. Then it turned out they weren't trans, and I'm guessing from this post he found this person attractive, because if not, why would he say oops? So you turned this person down because you thought they were trans, which tells me you're transphobic, in at least as you would not consider dating a trans person, which, again, that's your problem. But also, why are you posting this on your community tab? Do you think this is a funny story? How do you think trans people feel when they read this post? Because I would imagine, and I can't speak for trans people, but I would imagine a lot of people would feel hurt by that and would feel like they aren't real, whatever the gender they identify with. They're not a real man or a real woman, which is bullshit. But also, you're putting this on your community tab to be funny, which the only way you would consider this funny is if you think him accidentally dating a trans person would be funny. And if you think that, again, that means you don't think very highly of trans people and you think they're a joke. And that's just awful and disgusting. I made this video to talk about how people are not something for you to joke about. People, especially marginalized people, we don't exist to be the brunt of your joke or for your little social experiment. As someone who grew up visibly disabled, my whole life I've had to wonder if people are just befriending me because they think it's funny to be friends with a disabled girl and they can talk about it behind my back, which has happened at times in my life. And that is what I feel like when I read Charles's community tab, is he's one of those people to be like, oh, would you be friends with a disabled person? Like, if you wouldn't be friends with a disabled person because of their disability, you're ableist. Of course, you're not going to be friends with every disabled person because there may be other reasons you don't want to be friends with them, or you may not date a specific trans person, or you may not like a specific trans person, because at the end of the day they're people and you're not gonna like every single person. But if you do not like someone just on the basis of their marginalized identity, you really have a lot of unlearning to do. Because I can't help that I'm disabled. I can't help the way I talk, the way I move. People can't help what their gender identity is. People can't help what their skin color is or their ethnicity. These are things people cannot help. They are just things you're either born with or things you can acquire later in life, which is the case with disability. Is not everybody who is disabled is born disabled. Some people acquire disability, whether it's through an accident, an illness, aging, maybe an autoimmune disease that you develop later in life. But anyway, disability is something you can acquire. I don't know why I went into that. For some reason I did. But my point is that people are people, Charles. And I would really like you to treat us as people and keep that in mind before you make these community posts, before you make these polls to see if people would date someone from this group of people, because it's hurtful. And I know not every marginalized person is going to agree with me, and that's okay. But I would urge you to think before you post these things, because it can be hurtful. And no, it's not me being too sensitive. Like, just be a decent person, please. Anyway, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you have not and you would like to see more of my content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.